What if we could stop aging? Sounds too good to be true, right? But let's take an imaginative leap into a world where science has conquered the natural aging process. Imagine a society where wrinkles become a choice, gray hairs an aesthetic, and birthdays just another number. How would it work? What's the science behind the fountain of youth, and would the consequences of eternal youth be as enticing as they first seem? Hang on tight, because this hypothetical might just change the way you see life, and time itself. First, let's talk about aging. What exactly is it? Aging, quite simply, is the process by which time takes its toll on our bodies and cells. Over time, our cells divide and replicate until they wear out. DNA gets damaged, and the body's repair systems start failing. Conditions like Alzheimer's, cancer, and cardiovascular disease are intrinsically linked to this process of cellular decline. So, in order to stop aging, we'd need to tackle it at the very root, at the cellular and genetic level. Enter the groundbreaking field of biotechnology. Today, scientists are already working on mind-blowing ways to slow down aging. For example, researchers are exploring senescence, the process where damaged cells stop dividing. These cells, while not technically dead, interfere with regular cellular functioning and emit inflammatory signals that harm surrounding areas. What if we could remove these zombie cells? Well, that's precisely what senolytic drugs aim to do. They target and eliminate senescent cells, potentially reversing age-related damage. Some experiments have already shown promise in mice, demonstrating extended lifespans and increased vitality. But let's go further. In our scenario, imagine a world where these senolytic drugs are combined with other innovations like telomere therapies. Telomeres are the protective caps at the ends of our DNA strands. Picture them like the plastic tips at the ends of shoelaces. Every time a cell divides, these telomeres get shorter. Eventually, they fray away entirely, causing the cell to stop functioning properly. Scientists are now investigating how to elongate these telomeres, effectively resetting the biological clock of cells. In our hypothetical world, researchers perfect this technique, ensuring telomeres stay intact for a century or more. And it doesn't stop there. What about genetic engineering? In our age-defying utopia, we could use CRISPR, a revolutionary gene editing tool. With CRISPR, scientists can literally delete harmful DNA mutations linked to aging, or even insert beneficial sequences that protect against diseases. Imagine a gene editing procedure that prevents wrinkles, arthritis, or cognitive decline. Amazing, isn't it? But wait, there's more. Caloric restriction has also shown promise in extending lifespan. In our scenario, scientists might develop drugs that mimic the effects of a low-calorie diet without requiring you to starve yourself. In fact, these molecules, called caloric restriction mimetics, are already being studied. Now let's imagine that these drugs go beyond prolonging life. They give people glowing skin, unlimited energy, and robust health, no matter their age. Would aging really even be a concern? But here's the kicker. Let's not forget cellular reprogramming. This technique rewinds mature cells to a more youthful state. Nobel Prize-winning researcher Shinya Yamanaka discovered that by applying specific factors, cells can reset to a stem cell-like condition. In a future world, this process could be fine-tuned to rejuvenate entire organs. Imagine having a 40-year-old heart at 120 years old. Sounds like magic, right? So, in this world, we've effectively stopped aging through a cocktail of biotechnology marvels: senolytic drugs, telomere therapies, genetic engineering, caloric restriction mimetics, and cellular reprogramming. Everyone looks and feels young, and frailty becomes a thing of the past. But would this miracle come with unexpected downsides? First, we must talk about overpopulation. If humanity extends its lifespan substantially, resources like food, water, and housing could become scarce. Take a moment to think about it. Our planet is already struggling to provide for 8 billion people. Now imagine everyone living to 120 or even 150 years old. Even if people stopped reproducing entirely, we'd still face the challenge of managing and distributing resources. Would this create global inequality, where only the rich could afford life-extending treatments? And speaking of inequity, what about societal structures? Do we still retire at 65? Or do careers last for over a century? It's easy to fantasize about endless time to learn skills or travel the world. But what about boredom? What if immortality becomes a drag? Philosopher Bernard Williams argued that an eternal life might lead to unbearable monotony. Would people lose their desire to achieve things, knowing they literally have all the time in the world? Now, let's ponder relationships. How do human connections change? The dynamics of families would transform forever. Imagine celebrating your great-great-great-granddaughter's birthday while still having the energy to dance at the party. Marriage vows like, "Until death do us part," might lose meaning when death itself takes a holiday. Would relationships become more fluid, or would people choose to bond in ways that transcend traditional timelines? And what about the existential implications? Death gives life meaning, acting as a sort of deadline that motivates us to accomplish things. Without that looming inevitability, would our sense of urgency, purpose, or even happiness fade away? It's said we value things because they're finite, so how would we value eternal youth? Then there's the matter of psychological health. Handling decades upon decades of life could require resilience unknown to us today. Would people genuinely be able to adapt psychologically to this new reality? Could our minds, designed for a lifespan of approximately 80 years, cope with the weight of endless decades? Would mental health conditions associated with stress or loss amplify astronomically? And consider the environment. A lengthened human life might mean increased carbon footprints over time. The more years we live, the more resources we consume. In our hypothetical anti-aging world, humanity would need to become pioneers of sustainability, blending advanced technology with eco-friendly practices. Who knows? Perhaps even the planet could benefit from people living longer, focusing their extended lifetimes on solving global crises. Now, don't get me wrong. There's no denying the appeal of stopping aging. It's a tantalizing dream etched into human folklore for centuries. Think of the fountain of youth, immortality myths, and even modern skincare marketing. But like every great power, it comes with responsibility, challenges, and ethical dilemmas. Would a society of ageless individuals truly be happier, kinder, or more fulfilled? Or would it unveil flaws in our humanity we've never encountered? So, let's think critically. If we ever achieve the ability to halt aging, humanity will need to ask deep, probing questions about how we wish to handle it. Should these treatments be universally accessible or reserved for scientific pioneers and billionaires? Would we set an age cap? You can stop aging, but only up to, say, 35 or 50. And, most importantly, should we even do it at all? Until science catches up with this vision, aging remains a journey, a story of growth, wisdom, and time's natural rhythm. Instead of fearing it, perhaps we should embrace the beauty of every wrinkle and every gray hair, celebrating the experiences that make life worth living. But hey, what if we could rewrite that story? What if we could stop aging altogether? What do you think? Would you take the leap? Let us know in the comments below.